fucking do work. I really do. School is no better now
Yeah,
than
yeah, like we did our time. The kids, they got to do the work now.
it's go
Yeah.
home and give your parents this. Go home, have your parents do that. Go home, have your parents give us a certain amount of money. Go. What do they do in school?
Probably the same thing we did. Pick our nose and eat glue.
I just see so much stuff come home, and it's and I got to tell you, it's not exactly easy work. From what I remember, being in elementary
Yeah.
grades, it was a lot easier than what it is now. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. This is episode 559 of the Two Dum Yinzers. Of course, everybody, you do know that today is a special day because it's what day is it, Mike? Why don't you
It,
help me? Why don't you help
hump,
me out?
hump day.
No,
Hump
I said
day.
everything. What? Too much.
Hump
There
day.
you go. There's your hump day. Derpy, I don't know if you heard or not, but while you were gone, I figured out I figured out all my sound effects and buttons. And I do know that you've been deeply disturbed that I haven't been able to do your personal Derpy sound button. So here you go, Derpy. If the
If the button will work.
All right, here
If
we
it
go.
works.
There we go.
Derpy.
There you go.
There we
Yeah, there
go.
we go.
You hear it?
Derpy.
Yep.
Is that you can hear it good?
Derpy.
Yes,
All right, so
sir.
there you go, Derpy. You know what? I worked so hard on that for you. I was sweating. I was on hands and knees. Or wait, no, that was something else. I was
Oh, whoa.
but
Oh,
I
Derpy.
do want to say welcome back, everybody. Yeah, welcome back to the show. Guys, I got big news. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if anybody realizes this, but I got really, really big news here in Pittsburgh.
Let's hear it.
All right, guys, here's the big news. The Pittsburgh Pirates, as of right now, are in the playoffs. That's right. They leapfrogged the division yesterday by being the only team in the division to win yesterday. The Brewers lost, the Cubs lost, the Reds lost, and we beat the Cardinals. We right now, after leapfrogging the whole entire division, sit in second place by ourselves in the NL Central. And if the playoffs started today, that's right, we would be in the third wild card spot. We're tied in that wild card spot right now with the Giants. However, nonetheless, we are in a wild card spot, and we're 90. What do we got? 96 games left.
Yeah.
We got 62. We got about
yep.
65, 66 games into the season here. Yeah, we're 32 and 36. We're 66 games into the season, guys. If they can do any better than what they've done to this point, with the pitchers that they have now that they didn't have available earlier in the season, it's not out of the question that this Pittsburgh Pirates team can make the playoffs. Mike Derpy, what do you think?
I I hate to say it, but you might be right. They are, as of right now, a playoff team. And if the pitching, not starting pitching, but the bullpen can catch up to the starting pitching and the way the offense is playing, this is by the end of the year could be a playoff team. I did not see this happening at all this year. And it all comes down to me to three key players: Paul Skeens, Jared Jones, Mitch Keller. Starting pitching, starting pitching, starting pitching. Because if they didn't have starting pitching to help them win games, keep them in games, they would have lost a lot more games. The morale would have been gone. These guys right here are the cornerstone of what's happening right now. And it
Absolutely.
all flows through
Absolutely.
them.
You keep these guys, you keep these guys at all costs because here's what happens. Excuse me, as time goes on, you are going to lose other players. You're going to lose position players. You know what? That doesn't matter. As long as you got pitching, if you have one, two, three top pitchers in the league, whatever it takes, you keep them guys. Listen, look at what the Atlanta Braves did back in the 90s. They had Glavine, Smoltz, and Maddox. And that went on for a decade, I think 12 years with that group of pitchers. And you know what? As players came and went over time, The only thing that was consistent was in Atlanta was their starting pitching. And the one thing that was consistent throughout the 90s was this team won, and won. They won constantly. They won consistently, and it was because of pitching. If anything, long term, you make sure you pay these three guys because all the other things fall into place. I got to tell you, fielders are dime a dozen. I remember, guys, when I was a kid, and I don't know if they still do this, but when I was a kid, there was something in every Sunday's paper, and it was a Philadelphia Phillies open tryout. Okay, it was here in Pittsburgh, but in the miscellaneous part of the sports page, it was a Philadelphia Phillies open tryout, and they would do it right down the road here at these ball fields. And the one thing that I learned from that while that was going on as a kid was fielders were dime a dozen, hitters were dime a dozen. They didn't care, they didn't want. The only thing they did was they traveled around with open tryouts looking for pitchers. Pitchers was the only thing that mattered to the that whole situation, the whole tryout strategy they had. Pitching, and pitching was the only thing that mattered, guys. If you're going to do anything, you keep these guys around over everything else. Because Mike Derpy, look at just the difference that has been made just since Paul Skeens has got thrown into the lineup. Of course, he's a freak of nature, and you and I were saying off the air the other day, we finally got a beast. We finally got a monster. We finally got the guy. We have with Paul Skeens, we finally got our Mario Lemieux on the baseball team. We finally got our Barry Bonds. He is that guy. He is that freakish. He's had 6 starts so far. He's already at 46 Ks and 33 and a third inning. Yesterday against rival St. Louis, he threw 6 in the third, gave up 5 hits, again 0 runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts. Mike, Paul Skeens.
What can you say that hasn't already been said? Like you said, my God, he is the. I don't want to put him in that stratosphere yet, but I get what you're saying. Mario Lemieux, Barry Bonds, Sidney Crosby, Ben Roethlisberger.
You get
the
that
guy that you win around, the guy that you win with. Yeah, he's only going out there once every 5 days, but you look at the numbers since he's been called up, the offense has been red hot. Now, is that just a coincidence, or is that just athletes realizing we got one? Well, let's go. You get that guy and you see people's performance raise up. You see it in sports all the time. You get that key draft pick, that key free agent, that key trade acquisition, and people just play better because you're surrounded by greatness, and that's going to elevate your game either consciously or subconsciously. And I think they know we can win with him. We can win. They already know they can win. They saw what Mitch Keller is doing. They know they can win with him. So what Jared Jones was doing early, hey, we got one here too. Now you put the cherry on top, the crown jewel of the draft last year, the number one, I want to say the number one prospect in baseball, and boom, he's here and lives up to expectations. It's just making everyone better. Everyone but the front office better.
Mike, Paul Skeens, just in case you're just tuning in, just in case you missed the top of the show, as of right now, the big news, guys, there's a big story. The Pittsburgh Pirates are in the playoffs right now. Of course, it's going to change. These teams in the division are leapfrogging. I'll give you the division numbers here in a moment. But as of right now, with 96 games left to go, 66 games into the season, the Pittsburgh Pirates are in the third wild card spot and would qualify for the playoffs more than a third of the way season through. Of course, we still have the All-Star break coming up, but we still have a long way to go. But again, this team is starting to heat up. Last night wouldn't have shown that in its entirety. I'll give you why in a minute. But one thing that I do got to say, you know how freakish Paul Skeens is? You want to know how impressive he was yesterday? He got a standing ovation from the St. Louis Cardinals fan base. Everybody stood and gave him a standing ovation to a rival team. What's that, Derpy?
So that's crazy.
That is crazy. Where do you see that?
Deserved.
In the middle of a season with a rival team, you don't see standing ovations. I mean, come on. Everybody could, if you're blind, you could see that this guy's a freak of nature. He's going to be amazing. You do what you do to keep him. Again, the Pirates leapfrogged everybody in the division with the exception of the Milwaukee Brewers. But all other 4 teams did lose their games yesterday. The Pirates improved to 32-34 with the 2-1 win over the Cardinals. I don't care how it was done, but it was done. The Pirates managed to only get 3 hits in this game. None of the offense was in any of the game except for the last inning. It was 0-0 going into the 9th inning. Pirates put up 2. David Bednar gives up a bottom of the 9th home run, makes it 2-1. Pirates end up winning this baseball game. Again, 32-34. They are in a wild card spot as we speak. They leapfrogged everybody. They sit in second place. You may laugh by what I'm about to say next. However, you got to put it into context because we are 6.5 games out of first place, which seems crazy. It's like, oh, well, you know what? They're 6.5. But again, read my lips. The Pirates are in the playoffs as of right now. The 3 teams that are behind us are the Reds, the Cubs, and the Cardinals. They're all 7 games out. I do have to give a special thanks out to Derpy. I never thought I would do this in my life, but I am going to thank Derpy for something that a Cleveland team did. The Cleveland Guardians did beat the Cincinnati Reds yesterday to help the Pirates be able to do what they did by being the only team in the division to win. And the fact that Milwaukee lost as well was good because we actually gained ground opposed to both winning and not moving anywhere. So that was highly beneficial for the Pirates. They are in second place, 6.5 out. Everybody else behind us, 7 games out. We do possess a playoff spot at the moment with 64 games left in the season. Do what you want with that. But I do see this team starting to get a little hot. Again, going by the 3 hits that we had yesterday, that wouldn't tell you that we are hot right now. But let me give you some more numbers, guys. The guys that had 1 hit in this game, there was 3 of them. Nick Gonzalez, surprise, surprise. Andrew McCutchen, surprise, surprise. And finally, Brian Reynolds on his 9-game hitting streak gets a single. Those are your 3 hitters in the game yesterday. Kutch, Reynolds, Gonzalez, all with 1 hit. Connor Joe and O'Neill Cruz were the 2 guys with the RBIs. Crazy that neither one of them guys had a hit, but they were able to drive the other gentleman in for the runs. The Pirates yesterday win 2-1. Bottom of the 9th inning, all the scoring was done. They win. They are in second place. They are in the playoffs as we speak. Mike, is this team good enough? And don't get me wrong, I think that the expanding on the wild card or the playoff teams in baseball is the best thing that baseball has done in decades. But do you think that if this Pirates team could squeeze their way into the playoffs, does this team have a chance of upsetting somebody and maybe winning a round with the pitching that they have?
With the pitching we have, yeah, I can see us.
If we somehow sneak in just by pitching alone, I think to make a run in the playoffs, we might have to upgrade not just the bullpen, but we need to upgrade some bats.
Yeah.
But on pitching alone, with those top 3, I match them up with just about any top 3 in baseball as well, and I think we have a good chance. Especially if Holderman and Bednar can keep locking it down, and Chapman as well. Yeah, but my biggest thing is like other teams around us are going to add. Are we going to add anything of substance? And that's just what my concern is. The front office, are they going to do their part? Guys on the field right now, they're doing their part. It's just what the front office is going to do.
Well, let me address this just a little bit for you. Give you an idea, because usually the front office for the Pittsburgh Pirates is sitting around their thumb so far up their ass, has no clue what's going on. But listen to this. After Ben Heller, different than Mitch Keller, had his last performance, and we talked about the other day with his 49.5 ERA in 2 games, 49.5 in the last 2 games, got sent down. He got sent down. They're not keeping him around. I like the signs of this. The Pirates are using their head, okay? Also, the Pirates claimed outfielder Nick Goodrum off of waivers from the LA Angels yesterday. Also, the Pirates claimed right-handed pitcher Dennis Santana off of waivers from the Yankees yesterday. They recalled Ryan Ryder from the AAA squad, and they sent down Jose Hernandez. I'm liking these moves. They might not seem like anything really important or drastic, but You gotta like the fact that, again, this Pirates front office, the Pirate GM, they're not sitting there with their finger in their ass. They're actually making moves. And I got to tell you, with some of these moves, it's for the better of the team. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, you've seen how bad, again, Ben Heller was with this 49.5 ERA,
Oh,
sent
god
his ass
awful.
down. They went
Yeah,
out and
he was.
grabbed a couple guys. Like, they grabbed a couple bats, they grabbed a couple pitchers, they sent somebody down. So, this is encouraging. They're not bringing in Mike Trout to throw in the lineup here, but you got to be encouraged by what you're seeing, this action at this point in the season by this head office.
Yeah, because that's about all they're gonna do though, is moves like this. I don't
For
see a
now,
big I just don't see a big trade coming down. Like Sherrington had this big long word salad of an answer when asked if they're gonna make trades, and it all comes down to more or less everyone just needs to, you know, get, play to their best on the team. Everyone needs to start clicking at the same time. That was his answer. So these are kind of
which
moves I
is
think
true.
it's true, but you would like to see, don't be afraid to trade prospects because we've kicked the can down so far down the road that we've actually arrived to our destination. We're like the dog who chased the mail truck. We caught the truck. What the hell are we gonna do? You know, you got Jones here ahead of schedule. You got Paul Skeens here ahead of schedule. Nick Gonzalez is playing well. You had a couple pieces that aren't playing well, but your core is playing well. Now let's go out, make those key moves because there's a couple guys out there in the market that are available for the right price, but also have contract control for the next 2-3 years. Try and get one of those guys. Add to this, add another bat to the lineup, add another relief pitcher. These small moves, they're good because that shows that hey, we're looking to see what's out there on the cheap because that's how the Buccos have to operate. One of those guys hits, that's good, but also don't be afraid to go and make that big splash.
I do want to say, I just flipped over to the board. I do want to say hi to Ron on the board. You know what, Ron? That's generally the motto that we live by here. Anytime you get somebody special, you know that they're going to get plucked out by the Yankees, the Astros, the Rangers, whoever it is. But let me kind of put it like this. One more time, again, if you missed it, we are in a playoff spot. As of right now, the front office is making moves. These are the moves I would expect them to make right now. You're trying to bring up, you're trying to send down, you're trying to go with what works, get everybody on the same page at the same time. But I do think, Mike, if we're in after July, you get to that trade deadline, and we're still in the hunt, you think that
You
this
need
would
an arm.
well, you think that this would be motivation for Charrington and all these guys to want to do more. And it's you don't have to, it's not anything you don't have to do anything amazing. You just got to go out and maybe grab a lefty who that you could pick up and pay for the end of the season because he has a nice bat, or grab another arm for the bullpen, which is likely going to be what it is they have to do. Now, if you're sitting at 17 games out at trade deadline, hell no. Of course not. You're not going to be making any moves. But I think a lot is going to be said in the next 5 weeks between now and when the trade deadline comes around. Because if this team can continue to do what it does, they hung in long enough. They are in second place. They are in a wild card spot. If this team hangs around for the next 5 weeks, maybe even gains ground, maybe even pulls in closer than what they are, I think that, Mike, you'd have to make moves. You'd have to add to. You'd have to try to improve your team. I think, right, for the run, you'd have to.
You would have to, yeah,
Yes.
like a real organization. That's what you would have to do. A serious team
They'd have to act
organization
like a
about
real
when
organization.
you have to do it. And real quick, I just if even if say we are like a bunch of games out and we know it's because of the bullpen, I still think you be aggressive and you go out and get a guy or two to shore up the bullpen for, even down the stretch to get them acclimated to the team and you have them for next year. So you're off in a better situation. Like, don't just be afraid because you're so far out. Plan for next year in a more, instead of like waiting for prospects of, hey, we got major league guys ready for next year on the roster who are good. Don't be afraid to make trades no matter where you are. But like you're saying, if we're in the thick of it, definitely you got to go. You have to go all in for this year, next year, and the year after. You
That's one
make
thing
a
you
3-year
remember.
window of going all in.
And
You
that's one thing
have
you
to.
remember. Like 10 years ago, they went all in. They went out and got Marlon Bird. They went out and got Justin Morneau. They went out and got guys to fill in the spots that they just weren't super comfortable in. You had your guys, you had your, your people that were in the positions, your starters, your guys that were going to be there. But the little holes, the cracks that you needed to fill, they did a very good job of doing that and bringing in guys. And that team they were successful to an extent. Mike, let me give you a rundown now. In a perfect world, you have Paul Skeen starting, and then you have Chapman, Holderman, and Bednar coming in as your relievers. That's best case scenario. However, it's not going to work out that way for a couple of reasons. These guys cannot pitch every single day. For two, and you give them, and then all the time they give up big hits. Again, Bednar gave up a home run in the bottom of the ninth last night. But those three guys, Chapman, Holderman, and Bednar, in that order, last night managed to throw 2 1/3 inning. They give up 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 2 Ks. And that's the strength. That's the strength of the bullpen guys. Want to hear that one more time? A little over 2 innings pitched. They give up 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 2 Ks. So you do have to improve. You can't rely on Chapman, Holderman, Bednar all season to help you win, and rely on them to win games. Again, I think at this point in Chapman's career, he is not consistent, but you know what? I like what he brings to the table, and I think having him at where he's at right now in his career is better than not having a Aroldis Chapman. For two, Bednar, I think he's nowhere as good as he was last year. He is managing to get some saves, but again, turn to the ninth inning of any game, he's one of these heart attack kids. You're never ever going to be able to sit through a ninth inning and watch him blow through hitters the way that really good closers do. And Holderman, again, he's just one guy. So you're gonna want to beef up this bullpen. You can't rely on these 3 guys. They're good guys. I like having them in the places that we have them. However, you have to do more. If you feel that you can go down the stretch with these 3 guys, you got to do more. You got to do more. You got to do more. Mike, Rowdy Tellez goes 0 for 2 yesterday. I'm going to give him a little slack.
From 0 to hero to 0 again.
Yeah,
that's the story of Rowdy Tellez.
All he had to do was have one game where he didn't get no hits, and he would already be.
We're already ready to. Yesterday we were like, hey, you know what? If he turns it around, good form. We'll root for him. He's on the team. He has one bad game. Fuck the guy.
We're over there. They're cheering for Skeens in St. Louis, but we're booing.
We're booing. Rowdy. Hey, you know what? It's a baseball season. Every game is treated like a game 7.
That's right. Mike, we played next tonight, game 2 of 3 in St. Louis. 7:45 is the first pitch. And then we're off after tomorrow's game, in St. Louis. We're off to Colorado, where you could hit the ball a mile. So maybe we could go to Colorado and our offense could really pick up. But we do have games in the meantime. Tonight, probables are Bailey Falter for the Pirates, coming in with a 3-3 record, a 3.69 ERA, and 44 strikeouts on the season. He's going to be facing Sonny Gray, who's 7-4. What I gotta tell you, Mike, with these pitchers that St. Louis has 7-4, and McCullough comes out yesterday, and he had a no-hitter. How is this team in dead last place for St. Louis? All their pitchers have amazing numbers. This guy is 7-4, 3.21 with 82 strikeouts on the season. This is who we face tonight with Sonny Gray, Mike.
Sonny, like he'll have another. We'll have to, make him look like Cy Young. Because that shit was wild last night. McCullough, I did not think he had it in him. What he was putting up last night against the Buccos.
It's unbelievable. It's like he was Nolan Ryan all of a sudden.
I know. I'm like, this guy really? I thought we should be able to rock him a little bit, but we couldn't.
So there you have it, guys. Pirates are, for what it is, they're looking good.
Yeah. You know what?
We're 6 games in.
Bucko fever. You just have to ride it out because there's going to be a lot of highs and lows and usually disappointment at the end.
In the last game of this series, the Pirates are going to be putting Mitch Keller on the hill. The Cardinals had the misfortune of facing Skeens, Falter, and Keller. Let me give you guys an example of the difference in Keller's season. Mike, I'm going to give you the numbers between March and April, and then I'm going to give you Mitch Keller's numbers from May and June.
Okay.
Last year was a little bit. It was the opposite. He started out red hot, fell off, but this year in March and April, Mitch Keller's are this. He was 2-3 in those 2 months with a 5.18, and his opponents were hitting 2.78, almost 300. Now in May and June, He is 6-0, 1.13 ERA compared to his 5.18, 1.13, and his opponents are only hitting 226 opposed to 278. So what you're seeing from these starters, Mike, again, with the exception of the Philadelphia Phillies, maybe a couple other teams, I don't think anybody's pitching quite as good as this team. And we were just one late giving up home run late last night by David Bednar from having 4 shutouts in our last 7 games. So what more can you say about this pitching staff? The rotation, at least.
Yeah, they're playing really pitching lights out. Like you said, Mitch Keller, just last 7 games, 6-1, 8 earned runs on 9 walks, 42 strikeouts. That's what you like to see. Yeah, he's given up 38 hits, but the earned runs, man, only 8 over that period. That's a recipe for success right there. He is pitching like the all-star pitcher he was last year, before he had that little collapse in the second half. And last year he started off really well. This year he struggled a little bit. So hopefully, this is Mitch Keller we're going to see the rest of the way. And if that's the case, and if Skeens keeps pitching the way he does, look out.
Let me ask you this, guys. Keller's 8-3 right now. We have roughly a month till the All-Star game. That's going to yield about five starts, give or take, for Mitch Keller. If he hits 10 wins, which again, there's only 2 guys in the whole league that have more than 8 wins. There's two pitchers, literally, one with 10, one with 8, or one with 9. If Mitch Keller does get to 10 wins in the next month, is he by default the Pirates All-Star? Because you got to take one. You know what? With the way this pitching staff is pitching, Mike, let's say that Paul Skeens is right now he's 3-0. Let's say he's 5-0, 6-0 at the All-Star break with the numbers that he has. I don't think that come on, fans could vote. It's not out of the question if Paul Skeens gets in. But do you think that Mitch Keller would be the default pick just because he could be at 10 wins?
I think so. He would be the one. But people want to see Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
And I want to fault the fans for voting for him, because that's what the All-Star games are. They're there to show off the talent, and you want to see the best players there. And I wouldn't be opposed to either of them. I think Keller would deserve it, more deserving this year than last year, and especially the way he's been pitching. I would have no problem with either going. I'd like to see Skeens there, see what he does in that inning that he gets.
Yeah, he might go in and strike them all out, man.
Yeah, that would be fun to watch. But I would also like to have him have some rest in the season, and that would be the perfect time, the All-Star break.
You know what I notice his pattern is? A lot of times, especially in these games, well, of course, the games that he starts, strikes out batter number 1 in the game, strikes out batter number 2 in the game, the third batter grounds out or flies out. Yeah. It's been the last 3 games that off the top of my head I could remember. It's been exactly that. But you know what was something that they did here, Mike? Remember how I was mentioning kind of, all right, let me put it to you this way.
Yeah.
Therapy. Mike, let's say we're gonna train to play baseball, okay? And I'm gonna train you to hit a pitcher that's throwing 70 miles an hour, just for an example. And I take you to the batting cages and I start I put it on the 80 miles an hour button. And I just keep blowing them by you, blowing them by you, blowing them by you, blowing them by you, blowing them by you. And then we switch to 70 and let you get your timing and then go to the game. You're going to be so much more prepared to hit a 70 mile per hour pitch if you're so used to seeing 80 or 90 miles an hour. And this was my theory. If you have, listen what they did. They broke up the way that they were using Chapman, Holderman, Bednar. What they were doing was they were putting Holderman, Chapman, and Bednar. And I think, like I said, just by the routine of timing, it was screwing them up because you're going Skeens real fast. You were dropping to Holderman, but then you were coming back with Chapman and Bednar. You're going back to that same speed that you see in the first 6 innings of the game. So what they did to mess up the timing of the hitters was this. They went from Skeens to Chapman, and then Holderman, and then Bednar. That's messing up the timing. And I don't know if that's the reason why, but I would think that would be close to it because again, you're going real fast, not as fast, back to fast. Before there was a pattern to it, and again, if you were hitting the guy that was throwing the smoke, you were seeing more smoke at the end of the game, and you had an advantage, I thought. But again, by switching the players around and those four guys, I think that helps up because you're now getting Holderman between Chapman and Bednar, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. But too, like with you,
It's all timing, man.
Yeah, all timing too. But you look at Skeens, the movement on his fastball is so much more dynamic than Chapman
absolutely.
and
And that's
Bednar.
why he's a
So
starter.
it's so much more effective there. But I see what you're saying. It makes sense if from our point of view, it makes
Right.
sense. I don't know how much from like an actual
From a couple dumb
from
Yinzers,
a
it sounds
baseball
damn good.
player's standpoint doesn't make sense because
Right.
they look at
right.
launch angles from the pitcher and shit. But yeah,
Yeah.
you would think you're seeing it come in that fast. You're having you're used to tracking it.
I'm
That's
just
like
saying,
when
once you
Skeens,
get past the Holderman, you get past
Yeah.
that seventh inning guy. You face Heat all game. You face Holderman in the seventh. Once he's done, you're back to Heat the rest of the game.
yeah, you're used to that. Yeah.
Right. I think that helps your
Well,
timing.
well, you saw that too with that. God, that nasty ass curveball that Skeens threw. He's pitching, over 100 and throws an 82-mile-an-hour curveball,
Oh
and the
my
batter's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" So yeah, that
And
that that shit just messes you up as a pitcher or as a hitter.
one other thing that I did notice, and we do got to move on, guys. The Cardinals are very similar to the Pirates in a sense, and I think so are the Reds, and I think so are the Cubs. But everybody in the division has one of these return oldie greats on their team. Of course, McCutchen here, Joey Votto coming back and being put in that DH spot for Cincinnati. But did you notice that Carpenter, after all these years, was in his Redbird uniform last night batting DH? Yeah, Matt Carpenter, just like us, just like the Reds, the whole team really, or the whole division really resembles one another. But
I swear Carpenter has to be collecting Social Security at this point.
Exactly. I was so
My man
surprised.
has been. I swear he's been in the league forever.
They have a bunch of average guys. They have the old timer that came back. They have a couple, shining diamonds, and and that's the teams in the NL Central. They're all very similar to one another. But again, one more time, just in case you missed it, as of right now, mark it on your calendar, 1:30 p.m., June 12th, 2024. The Pittsburgh Pirates are, in fact, in a playoff spot. So you could say, well, you know what? It's still early, but you know what? They could be a lot worse off. They could be nowhere in sight. And moving in at the halfway point next month with the All-Star game, to be sitting in or around a playoff spot is encouraging. It tells me we're in the race. And I got to tell you, I think that this team's best baseball could still be to come.
I think so too. I'll take it right now. You know what? I think I had them finishing second, third in the division this year, and that's where they're sitting right now. So I look like a goddamn genius. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Brian on the board says there's two guys doing YouTube in St. Louis right now saying how old McCutchen is. Exactly.
Yeah, but McCutchen looks younger. Okay.
Yeah, Carpenter is starting to get a little bit.
Carpenter's looking. He's looking like a typical white guy, aging poorly.
Yeah,
aging poorly.
Guys, 88 days. There's 88 days left till the Pittsburgh Steelers kick off. That's right, Lynn Swan days. Mike Derpy, I want to talk a little bit about this Tomlin contract. I want to talk about Zach Frazier. We got some things signed over the past few days. Of course, Derpy gave us the news the other day. It says Tomlin is extending on his contract 3 years. It's looking like it's going to be about $12.5 million per season. $12.5 million per season for the next 3 years, guys, with no playoff wins since 2016. A lot of controversy going around. I seen a poll in one of the local news stations' Facebook's page, and it said by a big number, people say no, they don't approve, and they don't like the move that was made by giving him this contract extension. I think by a 2 to 1, the number was in this poll. I listen, we've gone this far. You put this new team together. You brought in this new coordinator. You want to try some things. I don't have a problem with keeping Tomlin. Let's see what he can do with this this group. These are his guys now. These are his running backs. These are his quarterbacks. This is his defense. I want to give Mike Tomlin another chance. And if that's what it was 3 years, then you know what? I think that we just have to deal with it. We've dealt with it so long.
Yeah.
But I think if he's going to make any run, Mike,
Now's the
with
time.
everything that's going on and the guys that he's bringing in and the quarterback and this just might be a team that he can make a run with. I say take a look at the end of that 3 years. He's going to be roughly around 20 years in. Then at that point, I think that you pull the trigger if you're going to eventually, let him go. But I'm not, I have no huge problem with these 3 years, as most people do. I'm seeing on the internet that people are going crazy about this extension. I not so much. Mike, what say you?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I was willing to let him, play out the year and see what happens, and then go from there.
Yeah,
You've been around coaches that stay this long. We see it. They become stale. Tomlin's become stale. Mike Sullivan became stale. Belichick became stale. You at some point you have to move on.
Right.
And I thought
Right.
play out this year, see what happens, and then go from there. But you know what? It is what it is. I'll take it. In the past 17 years, I've seen one Steeler game that had no implications of whether we make the playoffs or not. I'm fine with that. I'm kind of a realist. I know I want my team to win a Super Bowl every year. They build the roster thinking that they can win a Super Bowl every year, and it's not going to happen. I've watched 2 Super Bowls in my lifetime. I've watched some good teams with him, good teams with Cowher, some bad teams with him, bad teams with Cowher. I'm okay with the state of what's going on. I want more playoff wins, but I know it's hard to happen. And sometimes you have to have down cycles. And if our
Mike,
down
what do you
cycle
say to
is
these
just
people?
being competitive, I'll
What do you
take
say
it.
to these people that say we're regular season champions? And the fact of the matter
We kind of are.
well, the matter of fact is
we
not.
are.
Well, we're really not, because we're not
where we finish. Yeah,
we're not blowing. We're not setting the world on fire during the regular season. We're finishing 9-8. We're finishing this. If we were going, 14-3 more often, or 13-4, something like this would. I don't even think we're regular season champions. I think that we need a playoff win like this year.
We do. But I tell you what they are, and what really matters, they are revenue and profit champions.
Yeah.
Because you are in it. The stadium, there's only been a handful of games where people haven't shown up because the team has been bad. So they're making money. They're making a lot of money. And as an owner, I'm okay with that. I keep making my money. I make fun of Bob Nutting for it, but he is kind of right. Just keep making that money.
This is why I like
and the Steelers. But the Steelers, though, they spend the cap every year. They try to put out the best product they can. But as an owner, I'm making money.
Just making money that doesn't work for me, and I understand that.
Me either. I want Super Bowls. I want playoff
I look
appearances.
at the evil empire in New York that is the Yankees. I like what they do. They go for the kill. You know what? They don't win it every year. They're not the best team every year. But you know what? Every chance they get, they try to go for the kill. And we need to go for the kill. We need to go for the neck. We need to go for the jugular at some point. We're doing well, but you eventually want to do something better. Again, we haven't won a playoff game since 2016.
Yeah.
I want to see this team go for the jugular for once.
Me too. And you know what? With the new GM in these past 2 off seasons, they've been aggressive. In the draft, they've been aggressive in free agency. I feel like Kevin Colbert, my God, his last 6-7 years here, he became complacent. The way he drafted, the way he addressed free agency. So hopefully, with Omar Khan in year 2, we'll see what him and Tomlin can put together out on the field. But that's why I was just like, let's play out this year and see what happens. And there's always someone better lurking, out there. There's always that next coach on the horizon. Tomlin's had his time in the sun, like Howard had his time in the sun. It's time to find that next person, that new blood. That's why I would have been okay with doing this year and seeing how things went.
Mike, you were talking about creating revenue, creating money. The one player that we could say certainly does that for this team, because he has sold the most jerseys and is at the top of the jersey sales. TJ Watt, Mike, even with everything going on, a lot of these new players coming in, moving around, your Patrick Queens, your young cats like Joey Porter. After all this time, like TJ Watt is still tops as of right now. He's the top seller, but Justin Fields and Russell Wilson did make the list. So I'd
Well,
expect
yeah.
to see a lot of these quarterbacks jerseys
Yep.
around town this year.
Oh yeah, yeah. Shiny new toys, baby. You got to go out and buy the jerseys.
Absolutely.
Well, and the funny thing is though too, is like, will either one of those be around next year?
Yeah, right. Well, that's
Uh,
what I'm
that's
gonna get. That's why
that's
I'm
why
gonna
I'm
get,
not buying their jersey.
well,
No
I'm getting
offense,
Patrick
guys.
Queen. I'm
Yeah,
gonna get anybody.
I know he's going to be here a while.
I always wanted the number 6, but I never had the balls to get me a Bubby Brister. So
That oh come on now. I always wanted a Bubby Brister jersey. I had the like those little action
be
figures.
careful what you ask for.
I had a
Christmas is
Bubby Brister quarterback
around
one.
the
I thought it was
corner.
the shit, man. Hell yeah.
You had a what? You had a Bubby Brister shirt?
No, like the those little football
starting
action
lineup.
figures.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I had the Bubby Brister one. I loved it, man. I would always go out there, throw the deep bomb like Bubby Brister, get picked off like Bubby Brister.
The signing of Mike Tomlin was what we were talking about. I do want to say also, Zach Frazier is getting a 4-year deal. They sat down yesterday while doing negotiations. He is on to get his contract, which that's what you want from your hopefully your franchise center moving forward.
Yeah.
But,
I like these contract negotiations with rookies. You know how long your contract's going to be.
Right.
You know how much you're getting paid. It's like how you're getting paid. Where's my money?
Yeah. Mike's, but we do go. Let's move on a little bit.
But no,
here.
that's every rookie signed, sealed, and delivered under contract.
I do want to move forward, but I don't want to leave football just yet. Of course, the San Antonio Brahmas, Mike, this Sunday in the championship between the UFL is going to be taking on the back-to-back USFL champions, the Birmingham Stallions, in the UFL championship game. Mike, the Stallions and the Brahma. Who do you like in this game?
I know I forget who I picked yesterday. I think it's going to be a close game. Both really good teams. Let's go with the Brahmas.
You're going to go with San Antonio Brahmas.
I'm going to go with the Brahmas, yeah.
Now, this is the San Antonio Brahma. They came from the XFL.
Yeah, they were the worst the first, baby.
They're the team that are representing the XFL. Well, of course, last year they had Hines Ward was the coach. As Mike said, they weren't very good. He gets fired. They have a whole new system going on, and the San Antonio Brahmas, who does wear the same colors as the Steelers, are going to be facing off against the Birmingham Stallions, who have not lost a championship game. They're going to be representing the USFL, who's won the championship last year against the Pittsburgh Maulers, as many remembers, and also the year before. Now they're back in it, Mike. They could go for their third championship.
Yep.
They're basically the Packers of the AFL NFL merger.
Yeah.
Because the Packers were winning. They won 1 and 2, and then the Jets came out and upset Super Bowl number 3. So maybe, just maybe, the San Antonio Brahma, they could upset the Stallions and kind of set this thing off on something similar to what the NFL did.
I hope so, because that's who I'm picking today. Because yesterday I picked the Stallions. Today I'm going with the Brahmas.
Derpy, who do you want? Derpy, who do you think? You always got good insight on football teams and players. Mike's taking the San Antonio Brahmas for the championship. This game is, of course, on Sunday at 5:00 on Fox. The UFL championship. Mike's taking San Antonio. Who do you like, Derpy, in this game between the Brahmas and the Stallions?
I like the underdogs.
So you're going San Antonio too, huh?
Yep.
That's right, Derpy. That's right.
Well, I was going to take them. Now both of you guys took. I can't. Well, you know what?
Don't be a contrarian. There's plenty of room on the bandwagon for the three of us.
I just want to. I want to see it happen. I just don't want Birmingham to keep continuing to win.
Yeah, they're like the New England Patriots of minor league football. And
last year they had Magoo. This year they don't have Magoo. So they're just that team. No matter who they have, they're going to be good. I'm sure people down in Alabama, I know they love their college football. But some people got to be excited about what's going on with this Birmingham Stallion team. I think this league is going to grow and people will be more appreciative down the road. But what they're able to do so far is impressive. But with that being said, guys, I am going to choose San Antonio for a couple reasons. I like their colors, of course, and I don't want to see Birmingham continue to win. And as Derpy said, they're the underdogs. So for those 3 reasons, I'm taking San Antonio. Game is this Sunday. Before I move on, I do want to say that if you missed the first part of the show, the Pittsburgh Pirates, that's right, the Pittsburgh Pirates are in the playoffs as we speak. If the season ended today, they would be a playoff team. I just wanted to throw that out there just in case anybody forgot. You don't hear these things. You don't hear that every day.
No, you have to keep pimping it every chance we can because it might not last long.
We got some hoops to talk about here, Mike. The Caitlin Clark, her coach said they woke a monster. Indiana Fever coach reveals Caitlin Clark's reaction to missing out on the USA team. They're saying that she's a monster, Mike. She's going to turn things up and she's going to turn it up to the next level, maybe in her games, and maybe cut down on some of the turnovers. Maybe be more something physical. What do you make of this? What's going to be the difference we're going to see in Caitlin Clark beyond this? Now that she got snubbed and she wants to prove a point, we going to see anything different in her play?
No, she does not have the teammates around her to make that happen.
Right, right.
It's true. When everyone knows you're the focal point in the offense, they're, face guarding you after free throws. No, there's not much that she's going to be able to do. I wish, but the team around her just stinks. Yeah. So there's no one else to take away that pressure to where you have Steph Curry had at least Klay Thompson to take away pressure because he can shoot the three too. And now you just have Caitlin Clark. There's no one else there to help.
And you're right.
She doesn't have a Pippen. She doesn't have a Kyrie. There's no one else there.
Yeah.
You hungry? You want McDonald's?
Let me give you some numbers, guys. This is a report released by the WNBA. Since last year, attendance is up 156%, and more than half of all NBA games this year have been sellouts.
That's nuts.
About 400,000 fans have attended WNBA games this season, filling WNBA arenas to 94% capacity. This year's televised games between ABC, ESPN, and etc. are averaging 1.32 million viewers, nearly triple last season's average of 462,000. The WNBA countdown is averaging 741,000 viewers, a 211% increase from last year's full season average. The WNBA's online merchandise store has already set a single season sales record with 4 months left in the season, and sales are up 756% compared to last year. The WNBA social channels garnered 157 million video views through the first week of the season, an all-time high, up 380% compared to last year. And finally, the WNBA set an all-time record for League Pass subscriptions last month with a 355% increase versus last season. Is there anything besides the Golden Cow, Mike, that contributes to this?
Not really. No,
you think if she didn't get drafted this year, any of these numbers would be anywhere close to this?
No, because you want to talk about jersey sales. Like it was pointed out last week, she would rank 4th in NBA, right behind Wemby, right above Giannis. It's her. It's her. Now, some people out, in LA, they're tuning in to watch. What's her name? Cameron Britt. A couple people, you got the Chicago market tuning in to see Angel Reese, but they're not drawing these types of numbers to where you're selling out 16, 17, 18, 19, 20,000 seats arenas. They're selling out 4, 5, 6,000 seats. There's levels to this, and her marketing is on a different level. Her star power is on a different level. Like we've been saying, use her to bring the eyeballs to everyone else in the league. Absolutely. Hey, you like her? You might like her. You might like her. You might like this team.
How about the rivalry between this girl and her?
You do that. You got
it. Come on.
You gotta do that. But they're not doing it in a smart way.
They're not. The WNBA, it's going to speak volumes on how they handle this and how they move and shake beyond this. If this ends out going flat and the NBA WNBA loses this advantage, this you know what, that speaks volumes, and it tells you a lot about the people that run this company.
I swear the people who run the WNBA and run the NHL are some of the most stupid people that I've ever seen run sports organizations. WNBA is going to fumble Caitlin Clark. The NHL, for all intents and purposes, I'm sorry, they fumbled the Crosby Ovechkin era.
Yeah.
The way
Yeah.
they just did not market them enough, did not make them marquee enough, did not protect them enough as players.
The Florida Panthers being up 2 games in
Yeah,
that series.
yeah, it's wild. Like Connor McDavid is pretty, a generational, someone who probably rightly should be talked about as a top 10, maybe top 5 player when his career is over. And they don't know how to market him, just like the WNBA does not know how to market Caitlin Clark. You have your golden goose, use them to draw in more viewers to check out everyone else, but they both want to be garage leagues, play to a niche audience instead of expanding out to the general audience. Yes, you're a niche sport, but you need
it's
cool. You want to grow. You need everyone to come and watch.
It's cool that your sport is good for the black lesbians, but if you're going to make money, that is just such a small demographic of people. You have to reach out to this group and that group, and you got to reach out to straight people. You have to reach out to white people. You have to reach out. You got to try to pull in as many people as you can. You're not gonna survive off of the lesbian population. You're just not. It's not a discrimination. It is what it is. The number is so small. Your league is going to fall. If that's what you're aiming, all your advertising and all that you're trying to get, it just isn't going to work. It isn't going to work. It isn't going to work because it's not going to work because people don't like it. It's not going to work because it's not economically sound. It's not a good idea.
You look at pro wrestling, for example. Look at the WWE. They market it for every type of hey, you want hardcore wrestling? We have people who can do that. You want silly stuff? We got people who can do that. You wanted to see entertainment? We got that for you. And they have all the eyeballs. Where you look at their counterpart, AEW, they're just targeting to the niche. You want just wrestling? Just wrestling's right here. Forget about everything else. And you look at the numbers. Ones are averaging almost 2 million viewers every time they're on. The other's averaging 700,000. It's all about getting and marketing to the wider audience, the wider sports audience, not just the niche fans. That's what the WNBA and the NHL are failing at.
Mike, we're under 10 minutes, so I do want to move on. This is another exceptional basketball player. I want to talk briefly, and I want to see what your thoughts are on this. Malik Thomas. If you remember thinking to yourself, where do I know this name? He was a teammate with Brandon Cummings on the Lincoln Park high school basketball team that went all the way this year in the States for back-to-back state championships. Malik Thomas, if you recall, I say he was one of the top 4 players in the country. Get this. Malik Thomas will not be finishing his high school career in Pittsburgh. Thomas, an elite 5-star top 10 recruit in the class of 2025, is leaving Lincoln Park to sign with Overtime Elite. Jonathan Gavani of ESPN reported Tuesday, Overtime Elite is a league started in Atlanta, Georgia in 2021 for American and international basketball players between the ages of 16 and 20. Mike, get this, the next line in the article, with all players receiving a $100,000 minimum salary, signing bonus, and shares. Let me continue on. It's a major move for Thomas, who is being pursued by just about every major program in college basketball. He is the highest ranked recruit to join the Overtime Elite in the class. He says, I did everything I needed to where I'm from. We won back-to-back state championships. Now it's time to be seen by NBA personnel, GM, scouts, and the people that you need to be in front of. He also goes on to say that, okay, so these are the schools. Guys, want to hear the schools you're trying to get him to come there?
Yeah.
Thomas's release of the top 12 school list included Duke, Kentucky, Indiana, Kansas, Kansas State, Miami, Villanova, Pitt, Tennessee, UConn, Michigan, and Auburn. All these teams, he's made visits to Pitt, Auburn, and Kentucky, and has more on his agenda. I want to start off with the I guess the first question, Mike. High school kids earning $100,000.
I don't have a problem with it. You're going to like this private institution, yeah. You see this over in Europe. They're like sports academies. They that's kind of what they do over there. I have no problem with this. You look at hockey players, man. They go play junior hockey. They're making money before they get drafted in. I don't have a problem with this at all. it's transparent. It's transparent. You're coming down here. You're gonna be
Right.
paid for basketball because that's what your future is going to be to help you get into college. I have no problem for it as long as it's transparent. There's none of that dirty hidden money like we had in the past. At least it's out there in the open. I have
I
no
like that
problem
too.
with it.
I like
I
the
have no problem with it.
transparency.
Yeah.
He's currently
More power to these kids that are able to do this.
he's currently scheduled to visit UConn and Arkansas also this month. Derpy, if Malik, and if you want to keep your eye open, it's spelled Meleek. If he comes to your school, Malik Thomas, or not to your school, but to your team, if he goes to the Cleveland Cavaliers one day, will you go to watch Malik Thomas play basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. You know what? What great information. I mean, he's in the top 5, top 10. All the schools that want him. I mean, he's going to be a blast to watch, right, Mike?
Yeah, and I think we need more of these like academies that they're setting up down in Atlanta. It sounds like it, make no bones about it. A lot, people that they just want to try and go be pro athletes. Let them go do that. Have these academies, that will hopefully there is some schooling down there. Get them paid and get them seen by the best scouts and see if they have what it takes.
Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumyinzers.com over there. We got all of our links to mine and Ryan's social media. We got the blog over there. We got the 2 Dum Yinzer merch over there. Takes you to the merch store. All at the2dumyinzers.com. I forgot to get into my deep phone sex operator voice that I know Brian likes to hear.
Today's question, guys, it is trivia time. This is another baseball question. If you missed the show yesterday, it was just a random fact information about left-handed catchers and about how there has not been one in the majors since 1989. This is going to be another just kind of random baseball question. We're smack dab in the middle of the baseball season, guys. We're going to go ahead and go for the question of the day. You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
I am ready.
Derpy, put your thinking cap on. Mike, here we go. What is the most popular scorer in the Major League Baseball? I'm talking about if they played 150 games and the score for most of the games came out as something. What do you think the most average game or the most popular game, the most popular score, the most average score between two teams in the majors would be? What is the most am I wording it right?
Like the most common score in baseball.
Most common score. That's what I want. So guys, think about that. What is the most common score in the majors? There is, in fact, a common score that happens more than anything else. Take a moment to think that over. We are live. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day. And then the brand new live show that we do every day, we take and we upload over on Spotify at 8 o'clock p.m. the same day of every day. If you don't get a chance to watch it, or maybe you just prefer to listen to the show, you could always go to check it out over at Spotify at 8 o'clock p.m. Check it out. All right, guys, I'm looking for the most common score in Major League Baseball. For an example, off the top, Brian on the board says 5-3. So that's what he is saying is he believes the most common score in baseball. Derpy, I'm going to come to you first. What do you think the most common score, the most popular score, the average score in the majors would be? Brian on the board said 5-3. Derpy, with your thinking cap on, what do you say?
4-3.
4-3. All right, let me mark Derpy down. 4-3. Brian says 5-3. Mike, come down to you. I'm looking for the most common score in Major League Baseball. Brian says 5-3. Derpy says 4-3. What do you think?
I'm gonna say 6-9. Yeah. No, I'm gonna say 6-9. The big 6-9 score.
Asshole.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna say 3-2.
3-2. Is this your final answer?
Final answer.
All right. So we're looking for the most common score in baseball. You'll see the score more than any other score is what we're looking for. Go. The most common score in the Major League Baseball League is what Brian on the board says 5-3. Derpy on the board says 4-3. Mike says 3-2. Let me tell you, one of you guys got it right. One of you guys got it right. Mike, you know who got it right?
I got it right.
You did get it right. 3-2.
No shit.
3-2 is the most common score in baseball, won by the home team.
Damn.
You will see those results more than anything else in baseball. The home team winning 3-2. But there you go, guys. You learn something new every day.
That's wild. Shit. I just took a stab in the dark.
Yeah, no, it was right there. It was right there, Big Bear.
Oh yeah, that's right. Rawr.
But Mike, you got anything to say before we start wrapping it up?
No. Although I think I need to practice my deep voice. Yeah.
Oh, stop, Derpy.
Yeah.
Derpy, anything before we start? You always got good stuff.
You got good stuff, Derpy.
Give us something. He's always shooting stuff over, and I think, well, that's really good. And then I get wrapped up in my own stuff, and because I'm greedy, and I forget to talk about Derpy stuff. So Derpy, if there's anything that you want to say, go ahead and share it now.
I'm kind of sick of flexing our rings. I just want to win.
Selfish. I think selfish is the word I was looking for. I'm selfish. I'm worried about more what I'm saying. See, I just did it again. I talked over. Okay, Derpy. Yes, I see what you're saying. You're tired of hearing we got 6 rings, nobody else does, and you're ready for number 7. I believe is what you're trying to say. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
All right. I dig. I think in the big picture, it's kind of crazy that we expect more, but I definitely understand what you're saying. But until anybody else does match or pass us, we will always have that. So I do want to say thank you, though, to everybody for checking us out, coming to hang out with us today. It's always a great time. People on the board, we always appreciate you guys. Always keep things interesting. We certainly couldn't do it without all you people, and we do appreciate every single one of you. Brian on the board said, I'm headed to Twin Peaks if you want to meet me there for dinner.
Let's get some pie at the diner.
You know about this Twin Peaks, Mike?
The TV show?
No, the restaurant where it's like Hooters. They're kind of dressed up like I don't know, like little, I don't know, like what it would be like, farm girl kind of things. And
no, I just know Twin Peaks, the old weird trippy TV show.
The other week I was working on Brian's show with him, and he was telling me that he went to this place. It's like hot chicks wearing, revealing clothes. It's Twin Peaks. So Mike is looking up.
Was he at the strip club?
No, he went to Twin Peaks, the restaurant. But go ahead and check that out, Mike. Also, Derpy, anything else that you want to say before we go, man?
No. Not at all.
I got one more thing I do want to say. I'm going to let Mike kind of look up Twin Peaks. You find it?
I found it.
There's one in Robinson Township.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right, I do have one thing to say before we leave, everybody. This is very important. I need your undivided attention. Mike, Derpy, everybody on the board, everybody at home. One more time. Yes, as of right now, 2:00 p.m. on 6/12/24, your Pittsburgh Pirates do possess a wild card playoff spot. Keep it. Let's keep the hope up. Let's keep the Bucco fever going. They're back at it tonight. Pirates, Cardinals, Falter, Sonny Gray. This is big, Mike. They win this game. They're 1 game under 500. They move more up. They're in second place all to themselves. And, if you believe in what this pitching rotation and this team could do, stay tuned, because I think they're going to do something. All right. I think they're going to do something cool this year. I think they're able to knock somebody out of a series if they could get into the playoffs. So I think it's going to be very interesting. Again, Bailey Falter on the hill tonight. Mike, there is not a whole lot of other things going on until the weekend.
That's about it. I think game 4 or game 3 of the NBA playoffs is tonight, I believe.
Is that what's tonight?
Is that? I'm pretty sure it's game 3. Yeah.
All right. But we will be back tomorrow, regular time, to check it all out and to talk about all those things. One more time, anybody speak now, forever hold your peace.
Oh, we forgot Jerry West, NBA all-time great, passed away.
Again? How many times did he die?
Just the one time, just today.
I totally have Mandela effect with him, because
I think we have that with a lot of like the older celebrities.
I remember him dying several times already.
Yeah, but he just passed away.
Because when he died, remember everyone was like, "Well, who are you going to put as the patch now? Who's going to be the guy on the on the logo. I could swear he's already died. But anyway, I trust you. I believe you. There you go. Jerry West had passed. Pittsburgh Pirates tonight, 7:45, game 2 of 3 against St. Louis. They are moving up. They are moving up. They are moving up in the division. Guys, watch them. We'll be back tomorrow, regular time, to talk all about it. For Derpy, for Mike in the Steeler Central Mobile Studio, myself, the two Dum Yinzers, everybody have a great hump day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
See you.